Part of our mantra in life is to think outside the box.
And that's what this episode is all about.
You know, part of thinking outside the box is looking for inspiration in unlikely places, like the Midwestern city that inspired us to new creative heights.
That's right. It was Chicago, Illinois, the heart of America, where we met countless innovators thinking outside the box, leading the change in sustainability and art, fashion, music, and even social justice.
My kind of town, Chicago.
The Cubs, the
is.
Bears,
The Bulls.
the Chicago River,
The Sox.
the Hawks,
The Hawks.
the mayor.
The people, the food.
I love
We
you.
love 'em all.
We love you, Chicago.
And you know, we even meet a TV personality who you may just recognize, who broke out of her box through the medium of performance art. Check it out.
And I don't see it as a mistake.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So nothing's a mistake
Well, yeah,
in the
exactly.
continuum. And
It's all part of the process.
Well, I'm very careful, and I'm going to be adamant here about vernacular and vocabulary is very, very, very important. It's very important not to pigeonhole or be pigeonholed in paradigms that allow the material world to understand things that are ununderstandable in the spiritual realm. So I don't seek to use vocabulary that can say this is what it is or this is what it isn't. It is what it is. So I invite you to experience
There's
it.
no box, no bounding box.
And I'm done.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, you know, it's nothing like painting outside. You know, you've got all the natural sounds of the city from the train. You know, the energy really keeps you moving. And as an artist, it's all about staying in the flow of energy and staying energized and excited about the work as you're doing the work. Yeah. I feel very just limitless here, you know, and the open, fresh air, the clouds, inspiring the clouds on the canvas. And normally I'm painting, you know, in smaller spaces on my living room floor, small studios, and today being able to be outside with nothing to hinder me is definitely helped to, I think, open up my consciousness, which hopefully is translated here in part on the canvas. And definitely an expanding experience, so I'm really enjoying it. It's been great. It's been really interesting interacting with people, you know, as they sort of venture through their process of understanding my work and the artwork of others, you know, which is partly why I've got my headphones on, so they can witness without me having to explain the unexplainable, so to speak. What's up, girlfriend?
I love your work.
Oh, thank you.
Love it. I didn't know you did that.
Well, it's in my spare time.
Now, it looks like she did some copper and some gold and some silver. Blue. That looks like, I think that's silver. See, look over here. This is the silver. You know what, sweetie? We're gonna get collateral.
This particular work that I've been doing here has been a study of spirit and nature, and it's really interesting to see how nature came into the piece. It had to literally be a part of the artwork. The drops of rain actually became sort of an inspirational movement of the energy of my brush, and so I was able to integrate spirit and nature in that experience while getting wet. And the minute that I decided, hey, you know what, maybe this is not meant to be, we'll come back tomorrow, that's when the sun dried and the rain stopped and the sun came out, and I was able to paint for the last part of the afternoon. You know, it was a wonderful way to study sort of the inspiration for all the work that I do, which is spirit, you know, which is the cosmos, which is all the energies that are seen and unseen, and allowing them to come through me, through my hands, into the brush, and then eventually onto the canvas is very much what this exercise is all about. So it was a beautiful experience to be able to work with nature in the creation of these works. Each work of art is very much an organic process of channeling energy that I feel and that I see and that I hear. I use all eco-friendly materials, toxin-free paint, which is good as an artist so you're not inhaling all the chemicals. And I really see art as a medium through which we can transcend the limitations of the material world that often keep us from achieving our highest and greatest spiritual potential. So through my art, I hope to invoke to the viewer a experience that will allow them to transcend the limits of their own imagination. And the process continues. I never know what the final piece is going to be until I'm done. So it's organic in every sense of the word.
Why painting?
Well, you know, painting for me it's actually very relaxing. It's nice to be able to do something that's a little different from what I do most days, 9 to 5, in front of the camera and behind the camera as a TV producer. And it's really a way for me to just express myself in a different way creatively. I think every artist and really every human being has a variety of art and a variety of different genres of self-expression in them, and this is yet another way that I express you know, all of the passion and all of the emotion and all of the sadness and the joy and the happiness and the doubt and the challenges and the blessings of being a human being, you know, on a spiritual journey. So it's actually a nice outlet to do something that is a little different from what I do every day. It's kind of like left brain, right brain. It's very balancing for me. So I'm grateful to have this opportunity to do something that I love for 2 full days. I normally would never give myself that opportunity with production schedules. It's something that just typically doesn't happen. So this has been a great opportunity to follow my heart's calling and give myself a space to express that without any deadline, without any outcome, without any expectations. So it's been a very freeing experience.
If you thought hip-hop was all about inflated egos and excessive materialism, you're in for a surprise. One hip-hop artist, DJ Kavum, is using it to educate and inspire young people to think differently about the green movement. We caught up with him after the release of his recent albums, Going Green, Livin' Bling, and The Teacher's Lounge.
What's sustainable, kid? Don't assume. Just break it down, see me in the teacher's lounge. How to write rhymes and how to grow food. And how to meditate, how to fight with tools. How to unite and how to rep your crew. And how to give back and how to pay dues. It's your man DJ Kavum, a.k.a. E-Tef, a high school teacher, a.k.a. organic food grower, a.k.a. O.G. That's right, organic food grower, you know what I'm saying? I'm also a b-boy teacher. I'm also a vegan. Hip-hop is a multi-billion-dollar industry that talks about promoting the ghetto and the hood through the music and how much guap people got, how much money is spending on a lot of businesses that have nothing to do with our communities. I really feel that that conversation needs to happen in hip-hop culture. We basically need to stop supporting pop music. Get off the TV. I mean, straight up, we need to get off the radio and really just start talking and dialoguing with each other. I mean, most of our prophets are oral communicators. That's what the MC is. I wanted to put hip-hop on a green message. So when we're talking about real hip-hop culture and trying to redefine the image of wealth, I call it going green, living bling. Using your aura to shine and enlighten the people, you know what I'm saying, with the light. So talking about things of holistic health awareness, alternative remedies to corporate medicines, veganism, animal rights activism, social justice, teaching us how we can remind each other that we've been indigenous, which is green. And it takes more than one color to make the color green anyway, so we really need to get back to that universal perspective. Brothers and sisters cannot afford health care, and then we're surrounded in a community where we're flooded with drugs, fast food, and liquor stores. There's no access to food, clothing, and shelter in a healthy, organic way. So I really feel that we need to promote urban farming. I really feel that we need to promote, of course, yoga and homeopathic remedies because people in low-income communities cannot afford health care. So if we eat healthy, we won't need health care. People embody soul food as if, you know, eating the slave master scraps was like a part of our culture. It's bigger than soul food. And the soul food should be good for the soul. It shouldn't give you diabetes. It shouldn't kill you. You know what I'm saying? You're reminding people that it is in our heritage to actually eat healthy and to eat this way. If we really want to change it, we need to start growing our own food. We need to start making our own clothing. We need to start making and growing our own herbs, delivering our own children, not relying on the pharmaceutical companies, not giving in to these pharmaceutical companies that we already know are basically poisoning our water, poisoning our food. We need to start holding companies like Monsanto accountable. We need to start holding Supreme Beef accountable for what they're doing up in our school system. Like, we need to start putting people on blast. If we really want to have a free country, put them on blast. If we can't rely on the government to grow our own food and let them know and have a fair trade, you know what I'm saying? We might as well really supply for ourselves, not have to worry about the carbon footprint, grow local, eat local, you know what I mean? Support local hip-hop itself. Putting all this in music is how we can enlighten each other to stay positive and to stay active in our own communities. Because of course, that's all we have, you know what I mean? So UNITY, unity itself, true unity. Really, it's bigger than hip-hop. And hip-hop should be the name of this country because it came from here. Higher inner peace, helping other people. Word.
Chicago's Green Exchange has finally opened its doors. After several years under construction, this showcase of the best in green business and design is now complete. with eco-friendly tenants like the Greenhouse Loft, Green Choice Bank, and Coyote Logistics now moved in, the Green Exchange opening represents the end of a long journey for developer David Baum.
The Green Exchange is a triple bottom line development, people, profit, and planet. It is an historic adaptive reuse project, so this is an historic landmark. It is also a LEED, or will be a LEED Platinum building. Everything in the building is green. We were mindful of every decision we made in terms of sustainability. The escalator is sustainable. It's a sensor-based escalator. It saves 30% of the energy. Even the artwork, this is all reclaimed from the resource center that might have otherwise been going to a landfill. The most important thing in my mind is the thing that we didn't do, which was we didn't tear down a building. Saving the building is the greenest thing that you can do in the first place. So the journey has been exciting, but brutal. I guess I would categorize it as what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We were very excited to do this, and it was going to be a 2-year project, and 2 years into it, all of a sudden we fall off a financial cliff and we don't have financing, and I spend the next 2 years trying to get back, get our financing in line and make sure that we have a viable project, and it was a terrible time. It really was. There were 200 people that worked in this building, and all those jobs were offshored. And there was a big lack of employment now in the community, and building residential was not going to bring employment. As we stand here today, I think that we will have closer to 1,500 to 2,000 people working in the building, and that in turn has been a huge catalyst for the neighborhood, because already in businesses around the neighborhood, they are hiring more people. So you had a building that really represented sort of what was wrong with what was going on, as opposed to now a building that's a shining example of what's right. So it's everything from Coyote and their people being able to bike to work and walk to work and have a 10-minute commute versus an hour-long commute, to people sitting in offices where you have windows and windows, and there's natural light at every nook and cranny in this building.
2 point.
2 point.
So at 2 Point, we're an eco-focused architectural practice, and we do the full range of services from architectural design all the way through the construction drawings, and of course visiting the site to make sure that everything's being built as planned.
As architects, we're excited about being in the building for our own space, for one, to have a space that reflects our values, but then also to design other spaces like we've done with Green Choice Bank or Greenhouse Loft.
So the Greenhouse Loft is sustainable. Some of the things that we've done within the space include LED lighting, reclaimed wood floor, which has a fantastic amount of character, and then we have the HVAC system, the heating and cooling, which is very efficient and really keeps the space feeling comfortable and conserving energy.
So with Green Choice Bank, there were a number of things that we did to make that more sustainable than a typical retail or office setting. One was reclaimed material in the terrazzo flooring. Another one was the mechanical system is extremely high efficient. All the plumbing fixtures are also very efficient. The floor plan was actually a very open floor plan to let natural light flow throughout the space.
One of our favorites is the reclaimed wood wall that actually curves throughout the space. It's a really big design element, but also it comes from a reclaimed turkey coop that was made of solid walnut. One of my other favorite features is the check desk, which actually has shredded U.S. currency as part of the material that it's made of.
We've become clients of a lot of the tenants within the building already. For example, all of our accounts are with Green Choice Bank.
So this is our headquarters for Green Choice Bank. We are the Midwest's holistically green, sustainable financial institution. We measure every aspect of how we do things at the bank by how it impacts not just our P&L, our bottom line, our economic bottom line, but also how it impacts the community and people that we serve, as well as the environment. Our clients know that when they put their money on deposit with us, we're not sending it off to a holding company out east, but instead we're taking it and we're leveraging it locally, sustainably, responsibly here in the communities. So when you come in, you not only get a great deposit product, a great rate, and FDIC insurance and all that good stuff, but you also know that we're taking those funds and we're using it to help entrepreneurs and small business people create the jobs and the economic opportunity that pull us out of a recession. It's about relationship. When our clients come in and bank with us, they walk in, they know the people here at the branch, and the people in the bank know them. So when they come in, we understand what makes their business tick, what makes, how the cash flows work, how things operate, and we're able to craft products and services that are uniquely crafted for their particular instances, as opposed to kind of pulling something out of a box and saying, you know, if we fit these parameters, this is your product.
Hi, I'm Jeff Silver. I'm the founder and CEO of Coyote Logistics. Come on. So if you come over here, you'll get some interesting perspective. As you look behind me here, you see really the heart of what we're doing. We are a company that specializes in using trucks that are already out on the road on their backhauls to haul our customers' freight.
Hey, can you guys help me out in Mexico, Mo? Yes, sir. Tomorrow, deliver straight through to Weir, Kansas. Tomorrow, I know you got somebody around there.
Instead of one truck going out for Heineken and coming back empty, and another truck going for that retailer and delivering and coming back empty, we're saving costs, and it's great environmentally. It's a huge win for everybody.
So the Green Exchange is already having a very positive impact on the community. I think other areas of the country will look to replicate this.
And coming up, Michael's breaking the mold with a surprisingly delicious Fettuccine Alfredo recipe. But first, the art of upcycling old clothes into one-of-a-kind designs. Don't go away.
I consider myself a clothing artist. I've always admired knitting, crochet, quilting, painting, and making garments from repurposed materials is my way of combining all of those interests into one. My line is eco-friendly in that all of the things that I use at this point is made from repurposed garments because they're neglected things tossed aside, put into thrift stores. I just love the idea of being able to bring it back to life. I try to use as much natural fibers as possible, cottons, wools, silks. As a Muslim woman, it's very important for me to dress in a way in which I'm covered, but I feel that I should be celebrated also. So I love to use color and shape as a way of celebrating a woman's form. I start my design process with prayer because I know that I'm about to solve problems, and the problems being how to take things that are disconnected and separate and bring them together to form a united, cohesive whole. This is an example of a bundle I started with. This was the centerpiece, this particular color. So sometimes I feel kind of guilty because I'm like a kid playing with crayons. I get to do it all day long.
When Bianca and I are doing our raw detoxing, sometimes I really crave a bowl of pasta, but even though there's a lot of great gluten-free pasta, it's not raw. So recently, I went to an amazing restaurant in LA, O.G.s, and discovered kelp noodles. They were raw, they were made, it was like cheesy kelp noodles. It was so good. They were made from kelp, so they were super delicious and healthy, and it was just like the real thing. So today, I'm gonna make a creamy Alfredo sauce. We're gonna be cooking with fire, or not cooking, so to speak. It's easy, it's delicious, it's just a few ingredients, and I think you're really gonna love it. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we have is we have our kelp noodles, which you can really find in really most any grocery stores. There's a lot of variations too. You can get noodles that are made from like the starch of like mung beans or whatever. Any of those will work. I have kelp noodles here, and I'm just sitting them in some hot water. Okay, ideally it's not boiling, hot water. Let it stand for a little bit. And get them softened up a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start our sauce. And as with many of our cream sauces and our delicious sauces, cashews is going to be our nut of choice because the cashews are going to give that creaminess and that richness. Okay, so we're going to start out with our water. We have about a little over a cup of water. Okay, so that's going to go into our blender. And I like pouring the liquid first before you actually put the nuts in so that it gets the blender going. I'm going to add my 2.5 cups of cashews there. And then we're going to add some garlic. Okay, this is going to be nice and garlicky. I have 2 cloves of garlic. So I'm going to put 2 cloves of garlic in there. I'm going to add about a half a lemon. So we're going to just squeeze our lemon here. Okay, or if you have small lemons, you may want to do one large or one small lemon, or half of a large lemon. And our secret ingredient for our Alfredo sauce is thyme. Okay, it's about thyme. You got some thyme. Thyme is super easy to grow. I got this from my garden. You really can't screw it up, even though I have screwed it up in the past. But you're not going to be able to. You're not going to screw it up. So you want to pull the little leaves off of the stem. Okay, like that. And then so we add about a tablespoon, or excuse me, about a teaspoon, or maybe a couple teaspoons of thyme. Okay, so I'm just going to drop that in there. And then to that, we're just going to add about a teaspoon of salt. Okay, we have our sea salt here. Okay. And we're going to add a little pepper at the end, and then we're just going to go ahead and blend this up. Okay. So that's our cheese sauce. Let's give it a little taste. That's some good Alfredo sauce. Oh, slamming. Okay, so now we've got our sauce. All we're going to do is we're just going to get the hot water off the noodles. We'll put it back in here. We'll mix the Alfredo, and then we're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to go over the sink. I'm going to get rid of our water. So now we've got our water out. So we're just going to add our Alfredo sauce to our kelp noodles. Look at that, nice Alfredo deliciousness. Okay, and then we're just going to toss the noodles. Okay, nice gentle toss. Smells so good. Look at already how those are starting to coat up beautifully. Nice cheesy goodness. And then let's get a little bit on our plate. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to add a few scallions to that. Okay, also from my garden. Okay. Now it's time for a taste. Now the only thing about kelp noodles is sometimes you have to cut them. I know the Italians wouldn't like them, but I think the Japanese, slurping is sort of the way you do it. So, that is so good. I love the cheesiness. It's a great Alfredo sauce, and the noodles. I mean, they're raw, so it's just you're gonna love it. It's gonna be that great comfort food when you need something raw. I'm gonna keep eating. We'll see you next time.
I just love those noodles. They're so springy, just like real pasta. I mean, they are real pasta, but they're so springy. I love them.
Well, that's all for this week. We'll see you outside the box on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, outside the box or inside the box, where you'll get your phone, the posts are square, so it's kind of inside the box too.
Yeah, but it's outside the box they're watching. They're watching on a TV, which is a box.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So it's outside this box, even though it's another box.
Okay, all right. Well, don't worry too much about it. Just follow us. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. We're wrapped. Take it all off. My hair comes off, the face comes off. And she's like...